All right, welcome. We are live. Turn the bot down just a little bit.
Hello, everyone. Cool, I am audible. Did a sound check.
But welcome. Today we're going to be having some interesting chat, and I think it's going to be something that everyone's going to be really interested in. But how's everyone doing, Today's kind of just a very chill day. It's, right after Easter weekend. Do you do anything for Easter, Alex? Probably not.
I filmed, bro. And guess what I'm doing after this stream, like the second we're done?
You're moving stuff, right?
Yes, I am moving into our... well, not moving. I am basically moving all of our props and set into the house we're filming at for the next 2 weeks. So, chill weekend for everyone else. This has been one of the busiest weeks I've had.
No, trust me. I'm kind of in a similar boat right now. Suzanne's work is kind of they're doing the bad company thing of like, we have a problem with staffing, so until we fix that, we're gonna make everyone do overtime.
Oh.
And so now all of the supervisors are expected to pull 52-hour weeks.
Christ.
Which is hard for us because Suzanne works an hour and a half away. So it's I'm gonna have to pick up a lot more of the house chores and do what I can to help out, while she's being overwhelmed with work. So I gotta do all my normal stuff, plus her share of the chores until, things settle out. So just one of those things where she's in a very good position. She works really hard. And so now the company needs her there. And
yeah.
I keep telling her to quit, but she refuses to, So we're where we're currently at, but it's all good. Plus, not only that, I have finished out the most recent, or the last class for why this class is awesome. And so I'm done with that series until the new classes come out in like July, August. So trying to find some new content. The fighter video I think is doing pretty good right now too. I like my opening sequence for it.
Yeah, that was well done.
Looking for royalty-free music? Discover Epidemic Sound.
I don't know if everyone will quite understand like what I was going for with it, but I like how people just comment straight about the title without watching the video.
That always happens. I don't understand why clickbait is known. Everyone knows it's a thing. But people forget that that it's clickbait. Like, oh yeah, clickbait, a prevalent thing in YouTube game. Shit, no, this guy means it literally. I don't know.
Yeah, for real. It just right out the gate. But I gotta call out for some more monster deep dives. I really like the monster deep dive series. They just don't do well. It's just an unfortunate truth. But yeah, Fighter's already got 128 views in 8 hours, which is nuts. I think that's in the running for one of top performing videos right now. I'm more surprised it is. It's just behind where Gunslinger was, actually. Gunslinger's actually been doing pretty good, too.
Nice.
Because I think Gunslinger's jumped into the top 10 videos on the channel in a short amount of time. I'm always just blown away by what class videos do really well versus don't. And it's like, I didn't think Monk was gonna be the top of the line class video for as long as it's been. I didn't think Oracle was gonna catch up to it as well.
Yeah, it's surprising. I mean, like, though Monk is one of the coolest classes. Monk
is really, really cool. It's one of my top 5 favorite classes. Cleric did pretty well. Sorcerer's been doing phenomenal. And Bard has kind of been holding on. Bard's been slowly getting pushed out of the top classes, but it did pretty well for a really good long amount of time. And then Rogue just didn't do as well as I was expecting it to. It's always crazy. I don't know. It's hard to anticipate, I guess, what people are really invested in.
Yeah, true. Which one thing we are doing? I mean, yeah, it's we're doing the one-shot thing each week, or each month. But honestly, I think that could be another fun idea if you got the extra time for it. Like, find an up-and-coming tabletop game, just fucking poach it. Like, yo, hey guys, check this thing out. Be the first one.
Yeah, I think keeping a pulse on the community is definitely one of the things I want to do. Swashbuckler.
I am so upset about that.
Swashbuckler has done the worst of all the classes so far, which is, I don't know. I think I understand. It's because Swashbuckler is not the most flashy class, ironically, considering they're designed to be the most flashy class. They're just not like a lot of the other classes in how they perform. Like
Swashbuckler is one of the coolest classes, and I'm proud of that video.
It's a good video.
I like what I've done on it. It makes me sad.
Alex has such a run of videos, because the Monk video is a video he edited, and it's a top run video. The Barbarian didn't do that well. It's actually above 1,000 views right now, so it's not doing terribly. It's just kind of middle of the rung at the moment. And then Swashbuckler has done the worst. Like, I haven't done the math. I need to take each of the videos and their views and just divide them by the number of months they've been going to see like which ones have been doing better. Because like Monk is one of the first like set of videos I did, so it's had a lot of time to generate 3K views. But you know, like Druid was the second video I ever did, and it's only at 1.6. So, you know. And Bard's that. Wow, Druid is almost caught up to Bard.
Well, that's to crazy. Be fair, Druid is like the lamest class in any tabletop, so.
You don't know what you're talking about.
I know exactly what I'm talking about.
You don't know what you're talking about.
And I refuse to say, like, I certainly hope that a reason it's not doing as great is because of just the Dante branding. But like, Swashbuckler is one of the coolest classes. It's super fun. It is a great fucking time. I'm sad that people don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be the Dante thumbnail, but
maybe.
Like, all the other characters are either like iconics or just random characters from the game series. So it's not like they're people are picking out like identifiable characters or anything like that.
Yeah. I'll say Jess, like, just don't cast nature magic and you're fine. Because nature magic is categorically the lamest magic ever. But you casted cool, like, psychic spells, so they're cool in my book. The moment you start spending spell slots to make, like, fucking, ooh, the plants are growing. Like, oh, I can talk to the flowers. I played a Swashbuckler for a little bit. I think it would have gone a lot better if I just wanted to play the class, not a character of the class. I think the thing that's really fun is allowing a lot of like goofy shit, like cool acrobatics, cool like quips to things. Because I mean, Cam can attest to this. I do that naturally in play.
Yeah, you're always looking to have your moments.
Yeah, because it's a fun time, and if my character's gonna make a cool rule, I'm gonna describe it how cool it is. I find it really fun, and that was my favorite part of DMing, was narrating actions to people, like how something cool would happen. I did that a lot with Calden, actually, in that A New Slate game. But yeah, like just describing really fun actions, cool acrobatics, like funny quips. That was my favorite part. It is a class that rewards me for doing something I already do, which is already a thing I like in tabletop. I like it when I get a mechanic for a thing I would do myself.
Oh, did that person actually delete their comment?
Which one?
Because the comment where like they did, you know what, they did.
Oh, the one I bullied. The one I made fun of.
I actually deleted that one.
Oh no.
Harsh negativity like that did not belong on this channel.
Damn,
but
I was so hoping that me calling them a nerd made them delete their channel or their comment.
No, the one who I mentioned just a bit ago about like they commented without watching the video. Because one of the interesting things about how this whole like YouTube format works out, I can see comments even after they get deleted, because when they propagate for me, it leaves it and they can't edit that for me. So yeah, they must have watched the video and heard what I said, because they said exactly the same thing I did in the video. As why they disagreed with me, which was super funny. I love that.
That's really funny. I was the diplomacy swashbuckler. The thing I like about swashbuckler too is this is what I do in video games, which is why gunslinger and swashbuckler are my favorite classes. I always go for crit builds. I really like having a character that, like, if I'm lucky, I just destroy something. So that's why, gunslinger and swashbuckler are my favorite. Like, if you crit with them, they're terrifying. Might not happen all the time, but when it does happen, you destroy.
I mean,
you just eradicate a boss.
Literally nothing better than a class that gets more powerful the cooler you play it. Like,
exactly.
That's one of the biggest things, like one of the biggest gripes people have is like swashbucklers DC based. It's really hard to get panache against stronger enemies. It's like, it's not if you are cool or you take certain feats that, are very much designed to just auto give it to you, like your first or whatever, or not your first, but the one that puts the swashbuckler at the end of the initiative. I forget
yeah. That was cool.
After you.
Yeah, I think I had that.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I have a type. I have an aesthetic, and I refuse to deviate from it. I know what I like.
But yeah, it's I think it's a really well done class. I think up front, it looks inefficient, but I think if you actually got into swashbuckler, you're like, in all actuality, even if you don't use their actual finishers, panache isn't a great attribute, and you're essentially become a fighter who gets monk-like speed boosts and ability to like deal damage and everything. I mean, you can kinda. You just like, it's in the rules that you can get panache by just doing like daredevil or risky behavior, and the DM can award it to you. You just need a cool DM.
Honestly. And I will say, like, if you go into swashbuckler trying to make an efficient fighter, like, power, like, character like that, like, and you're not going into it to be the coolest motherfucker in the room, like, I don't know what to tell you. I think you're looking at swashbuckler wrong. Because that's the fun of it.
I legitimately think you could play Dante as a swashbuckler and have a really good time with it.
I made Dante in Path Builder because that's the kind of person I am. It was a dope build. It was really fun.
All right, but we've gone on 20 minutes without talking about what the actual subject of this video is.
That what they're adding to Pathfinder 2e.
What they're adding to Pathfinder 2e.
Guys, you won't believe it.
You're such a meme, Alex. But, so, Pathfinder 2e is, I mean, they come out with a lot of stuff. Anyone who pays attention knows they come out with, like, 5 books a year, which is nuts. It's nuts for a publishing company in general. But, like, last year they came out with, like, Guns and Gears. They came out with the Magic book. They came out with another book earlier in the year. I don't remember which one. And then they came out with like 8 adventuring modules. And they're coming out with, in no, short amount of time, the Undead book. What is it? The Book of the Dead. And in that, you literally can play as a lich. I think that's like the number one thing players keep asking about in tabletop. Can I make a lich? Because everyone knows how to make a lich, right? Like, it's not a secret.
And liches are always like some of the coolest villains. Because like they're so like conniving, evil, and scary looking. Like it's the dream. Like the actual dream.
And you can play an undead character, which that also continues to come up in, like games and all this kind of stuff. They have more versions of vampires, skeletons, and zombies, which I'm super stoked about because I love throwing zombies at my players. But there's like only 3 types of zombies. Shut up, Alex.
Mr. 3 undead campaigns.
And they were barely undead!
Well, who has the undead dice?
You gave them to me! Setting me up for failure. Anyway, I do think Revenants is another archetype. Or there's a background for it. I don't remember. But yeah.
There is an apparition or ghost. But what's it called? What's like the addendum to the class is called? Fuck, the archetype. That's it.
Yeah.
There's an archetype where if your character dies, you can just become a ghost.
Yeah. So that's already pretty nuts. It's like, hey, players, do you want to do the things that you keep bothering your DMs for all the time? I never thought a game system would come out with like, here's Lich as an archetype, right? That's already kind of way out of it. And here's also like, here's playing undead characters, which, has its ups and downs. I honestly think playing undead in Pathfinder is a lot more balanced than it is in some other games.
It definitely seems like it from like the bit I've read.
But they also have upcoming cryptid hunters in the Dark Archive. They have, they're going to have ex-cultists. They're going to have all kinds of really good, interesting background stuff. Interesting, in the Dark Archive, they're going to be really tapping into a different genre, almost, of tabletop. Because, like, Pathfinder and D&D currently are very much like the style of high fantasy medieval. But Dark Archive is like, hey, do you like the Dresden Files? Do you want to be like Doctor Strange? Here is the secret world of a fantasy world. Isn't that nuts? Isn't that kind of crazy to think about? Here's the secret world, the world that most people don't know about, in a world where fucking dragons exist, right? Like, what exists beneath the veil of a world like that?
God, that reminds me of a fucking really stupid joke tweet I liked like a while back of like, I don't understand why fantasy characters are always surprised at monsters showing up. Like, bro, you're literally an elf. You live in a realm.
Yeah.
Dumb, yeah, like, but that's so cool.
I remember that one too.
My God,
You know,
I would actually play a
bet-
lich. I would actually play a lich. I hate spellcasters, but that sounds like rad as fuck.
And the thing is, too, is I think Lich is actually like a higher level archetype. I think you can't pick it up until like level 8 or
16.
something. 16?
That's what I think I saw on our Discord.
Oh no.
Someone-
Unfortunately, it's been very criminal lately. There's been so many like
Level
content
12.
creators who got the information and revealed a lot of it like 2-3 weeks ago, and it's not even out yet still.
It is
how am I
level
sup-
12 you get archetype.
Level 12, yeah. And lycanthropy stuff is also really cool. I would not be surprised if they had that in some of the Dark Archive stuff as well. You know, it suits the style, you know, keeping something dark hidden inside. And you know what, Phoenix, we are going with the clickbait titles, and it's working. There's 13 people here, which is like 4 times the normal people who are here. But
Yeah.
legitimately...
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Legitimately, this is really cool stuff. And something else that's really cool that's coming out, in my opinion, is the Battle Zoo books, which there's Battle Zoo Bestiary and Battle Zoo Ancestry. Now, for people who might not know, Battle Zoo is currently being designed by one Mark Seifter, who's the currently director of game design for Battle Zoo. He was a former design manager for Paizo, and he was one of the lead creators of Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So the guy knows his stuff, especially about Pathfinder and especially about Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And Battle Zoo is coming out for D&D 5e and Pathfinder. But I was looking it up here just not too long ago. It's obviously mostly Pathfinder 2e design. Like, if you look at it, they look like Pathfinder 2e stat blocks, which work for D&D, but you can obviously see some of the well, I mean, you see the design elements, and they have some monsters that kind of are D&D based more in design than anything. One monster like the Sylvain is a really good one. Yeah, the Dragon Ancestry book is nuts. You play a younger dragon, so it's like you're not playing an overpowered character. You're playing like a wormling that's an adventurer that eventually turns into a dragon, like a full-blown dragon. Like, I think you can get size increases, and they have a bazillion ancestry feats, all kinds of stuff. And what really is cool to me, and I think the thing that players are always like itching for in games, is this is the first book that has been so well designed. And I mean, again, it's by one of the designers of Pathfinder 2nd Edition, where you have weapon and armor crafting based on hunting monsters. I love monster hunting. I think monster hunting is some of the coolest stuff you can do in tabletop in general. Going and killing powerful monsters to use them as loot. Like, they don't need their own loot table. The monster is the loot. It's really good. And I was kind of very skeptical about looking into it as they were coming into it. It's not easy. No, they are very different game systems. The book itself actually provides monsters of designs from both stat block types. So you're going to have to make a conversion one way or another when you're playing the game. You know, they tried to do a pretty even split between standard 5e stat blocks and standard Pathfinder stat blocks, which is really good. It's a really good idea for a book like this. And so I agree, it's impossible to make monsters that are very easily convertible one side to the other. So instead, what they did was they designed a lot of monsters that are more general and they have certain action types that are easy to identify. And then they just designed them with like D&D and 5e, and then it's up to the GM to kind of split them up. But both D&D and Pathfinder got, you know, like 60, 70 monsters each. Easy.
Everyone loves a good bestiary. Like I that's gonna go wild. Especially if like they're giving out like shit like that. Like, yeah, play as a dragon. Because not my thing. I'm never gonna be doing that. But if I play in a table where someone else is like a whole ass fucking dragon, I'll be into it.
Yeah, and the stat block is true, but they do have legitimate 5e stat blocks. Like they like the Sylvain, and you can look up a demo of it. It has multi-attack, you know, so when it attacks, it strikes twice with its claws. That's not a Pathfinder thing, you know. It has the innate spell casting and the magic resistance, all kinds of stuff like that. Like, you can see definitely there are stat blocks that are designed with 5e in mind and stat blocks with Pathfinder in mind. And I think it's really cool. A lot of the art is really well done. The character, there's a pirate, the Gimyon pirates. Here, I'm gonna pull up a.
Yeah, please do.
Pull up a. Let's see.
Yeah, no, completely agree. CR is a fucking joke. It's like a really dumb like mechanic. Balancing is completely on the DM side for 5e.
All right. It's a little cut off here. 1 second.
I love them. Okay, look at him.
He's a parrot pirate.
Yo, Toucan Sam like just fucking broke. That's great.
Yeah. So, and you can see here, we have Periwinkle, Destroyer of Worlds. Is that you? It was a blue parrot that was actually a demon. It's great. But they have this dude here. They have a Dryad Husk, which is very interesting. And you can see here, this is the D&D format.
Yeah. That's a dope design. Holy shit.
The art's so good. They got a wildfire Leshy right here, which is really, really cool.
Oh, that's fun.
Seas parrots. Pathfinder 2 is the greatest RPG of all time. Yeah. Here's the Sylvain. Very interesting monster here. I was looking at it. They're a memento mori. They hunt for like items that were important to people who've recently become deceased.
Ooh, that's fucking spooky.
All kinds of really cool things. And they have a good, like, this is just from the demo clip too. I've been thinking about wanting to get it. It's really hard for me to want to buy like non-official material. Oh, the butcher booth. It's like a mimic booth. You can see the flesh on the side here.
More mimic just items. That was one of the best things they added for 5e. Like all the new mimic shit.
Yeah. Oh my god. People it kills, it turns into humanoid corpse like zombies. That's pretty nuts.
Damn. This is a pretty good book. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I completely get what you mean about that too. Supplement material is real hit or miss. This is already like a hit.
The blood mouse.
Yo, what?
Wouldn't that be a fun familiar?
That would be.
It's a soothing aroma? What the fuck?
I wouldn't see that like with that picture.
Bloodmouse is surrounded by an aromatic cloud that emanates from a gland in its tail. The pleasant aroma smells different to each creature and fascinates its prey. That's some straight eldritch horror stuff.
Agreed. I was confused for sex. I don't often, go around smelling mice.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did, actually. I didn't... There we go. That's my bad. Sorry about that. Go back through some of these so I can take a look. I'm always really on the edge. I'm always on the edge when it comes to getting, new material for tabletop in general. I don't like unofficial material more often than not. The people that design them don't necessarily always completely understand the game's design principles, and a lot of it is very much just wish fulfillment. This stuff here is grounded in good game design. I mean, obviously it was one of the Pathfinder 2E lead creators, and the monster art looks really good. Look at this parrot. Normally I'm not the one for chibi style character art or anything like that, but look at the design on his feathers. I love the fact that he has darts with his own feathers attached to them. The armor looks good. His eye is beautiful. The feather in his hat is one of his, and it's really well done. Almost has a water painting aesthetic to it.
They better have paid their artists extra.
Yeah. And then look at this. Look at this really cool. I love old-fashioned, classic D&D art. And they're using it for trimming here, and it looks good. It doesn't make the page look cluttered or anything like that. This guy's ready to go out with the boys right here. Oh, you guys can see my mouse now. Weird. Oh, now you can. But yeah, this guy.
What's that? Yeah, that's my little demon. That's totally the me and the boys.
Me and the boys. It's exactly that.
It's so funny.
This dryad husk is amazing.
You gotta send me
good.
this PDF. I kind of want to make that an email for the server. That little dude.
Ooh, that'd be good. Yeah, that'd be a good one. You can get this. You can download the demo off of the Battle Zoo Kickstarter. But Wildfire Leshy right here, Memento Demon right here, another really nice side panel, and they got really good information. And not only that, but this book here phenomenally gives credit to the designers in a way that most books don't. Right here, each of these monsters get a little badge on who was the designer for it. David Walker designed the Wildfire Leshy. William Fisher designed the Memento Demon. Matt Kavanaugh designed the Husk. It's really, really good. And I don't know if this is monster design or the art. Unfortunately, the demo doesn't give this information out. I guarantee the core book will.
Oh yeah, quite possibly. That's very cool that they did that. That is, you don't see that very often, or really ever. Yeah, give them credit. They deserve for some of these really cool designs. Good job, Rodney. That's a really cool thing.
I have no idea. Unfortunately, this is just a demo. I've been contemplating getting it. I think I might actually do it. The demo even goes into a little bit here of the rules for crafting items from the monsters, which, again, players always love that. They love looting the monsters. They love, you know, chopping them up into bits. I mean, here's a really good image with that kind of stuff in it. Like, all the weapons are bone. The armor they're wearing has monster scales on it or fur. This guy might not even have actual wings. Those wings might be a special feature on the armor that they can activate. That's Keyleth. That's straight up just a different art style of Keyleth.
That's completely Keyleth.
Which I think that's also a really good idea. Hide some art, you know, hide some characters that are very resembling of a famous character. But yeah, there's all kinds of monster glands, all that kind of stuff. Actually, if we go over here to the Kickstarter itself, you can see here the monster parts system allows players to create custom weapons, armor, shields, items, and gear from any monster. So that blood mouse, the fire leshy, all that kind of stuff right here. All can offer loot for your games, even homebrewed monsters. The system is future-proof and will work with nearly any expansion or third-party rule sets for, I'm assuming, the games that they're designing. As your characters level up, you can continue to add new monster parts to your gear, increasing its power and gaining new powers and abilities. The gear customization options are near infinite, allowing you to add dozens of imbuing categories to your gear, such as acid, bane, chaotic, cold, evil, yada 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 yada, bunch more. Plus, you can choose from 3 different paths when imbuing magic into your items. You can choose magic to allow your gear to cast new types of spells. You can choose might to make your gear much stronger, or you can add technique to dish out nasty debilitating effects over time. Isn't that really cool?
Super
the fact
cool.
that they have a lot of the monsters will provide not only like loot, but you can pick types of upgrades for the loot. You can pick like, oh, I want to do more damage. Oh, I want more magical effects. Oh, I want to add nasty so many monsters have really cool debilitating effects they apply to the players. Having that in your hands is insane. They have rules for gathering, like what actually, like no longer are you just like, what do we do? Roll survival, you know. I will take a look at that real quick. I know it's currently on Roll20.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, and so Roll20 is going to have a lot of this available. It's something I'm very much considering for picking up. Yes, this is the 114 RPG Superstar monsters, separated by copper, silver, gold, platinum, and grand prize winners. So I think this was, those badges are probably people who, you know, they pledged a certain amount and they got like their monsters put into the game.
That's so cool.
And so those badges, I guess, are for the people who put into it. And those monsters were cool. Like they weren't just weird monsters that they somehow made work. They were legitimately good monsters. The Dragon Ancestries book. Oh yeah, there's the Dragon Ancestries book. You know, you want to play so many times do I have players who want dragons. They either want a draining companion or they want a dragon. Like they want to be a dragon. And these are not half dragons. They're not dragonkin, but you're a true full blue dragon. You'll one day grow up to be a nice big legendary monster in the world. Oh, okay. So that's what the RPG Superstars are. That's really cool. But yeah, look at this. Look at this. Look at this bronze dragon boy with his bow and everything like that.
Huh. Yeah, that's an adventure dragon.
There's a cleric one right there. And then they came out with an adventure book with our good old friend, the Pirate's Parrot here.
Hell yeah.
Jewel the Indigo Isles.
Damn, this is a real cool, like, supplement thing.
It's really good. I'm super excited about it. I think I might actually invest in getting these for our games. The hard part with Roll20 is I think they recently expanded it. You could only share so many books with some of your characters or your players. So I'll have to see about, like, if I start making choices, it's going to get really hard. And this adventure here also has new types of dragons added into it. The Amber, Cerulean, Indigo, Harley Quinn, or Vermilion. Harley Quinn dragon. Ah, that sounds really cool. They have rules for building a dragon horde.
Oh my god.
Wait. What the heck is this? The new flying pig archetype. What is that?
My new character.
Alex, please.
Listen, I'll make this character in Pigs Fly. Oh, wait.
Oh, the pirate in the new adventure book as well. That you can also play the pirate parrot person, the Yumyayan. Apparently, it's gonna be new ancestry. We just went through all that. Sorry if you get motion sickness. Actually, you know what? While I'm researching here, let's swap back real quick. Don't want to make anyone sick. FAQ.
Yeah, you just deadass gonna be dragons. That is... See, like, I'm not gonna do that. Not my thing. But that's so cool. Happy for those who will like that.
Foundry and Roll20 are both getting add-ons for their books. So if you're a Foundry, if you're Roll20, these will be available on those markets. And I know the Roll20 one is currently out. I don't use Foundry, so you'll have to check that out for yourselves. But right here, Foundry, VTT, and Roll20 VTT options are add-ons. The digital asset bundle you get is raw, so you can do whatever. The difference in the VTT bundles are pre-built into those systems. So... But yeah, they're adding a metric ton of really good, like, game design, good art. Again, I'm not one to pick from after running Abomination Vaults, I've run this. Yeah, for sure. Amice, are you a 5e player or Pathfinder 2e player? I'm curious.
I'm going to call 2e because this is the safe place for 2e players to shit talk on 5e. Don't worry, this is a safe place. Wizards of the Coast won't find you here.
Wizards of the Coast can't find you here. Well, because I know recently they released Abomination Vaults for 5e.
So. Fair enough.
I'm gonna assume Pathfinder 2e because I didn't even put D&D 5e in the title of the video.
Oh my god! If this shit blows up, we're gonna have to deal with that all the fucking time, aren't we?
Yep.
5e fans swinging by and being like, "Fuck you! This is the best game ever." It's like, no, it's fun, but man.
Hell, we're in 5e campaigns.
I am in 2 5e campaigns, and I enjoy it a lot. But
you're in more 5e campaigns than Pathfinder campaigns.
Yeah, but I like Pathfinder more. Yeah. Pathfinder's rules are just, I think, a little better. Actually, not a little. They're way better. But, like, I like 5e only because it's the people I'm playing it with. That's all I give a shit about.
That's fair. I mean, that's why we play Anima.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, I like the Anima rules, but I'm weird.
Yeah, you like broken stuff.
Yeah, I like shit that just doesn't function as like intended.
But yeah, it's Pathfinder 2E has so much coming down the pipework, and just you get to play all your fantasies. Players who've asked for to be a lich, to be undead, players who've asked to be a werewolf, vampire, all that's coming down the pipework. Well, 5e is good. 5e is casual. 5e is casual tabletop.
Yeah.
It's like saying Minecraft's a terrible game because, like, what's even the point, right? There's no competitive scene. I mean, there are, but it's not what the game is designed for innately. It's just a fun builder game, right?
Yeah, like I'd say it's like honestly, yeah, 5e is like the Minecraft and 2e is like Valheim. It's like both are different beasts. One is a lot more complicated than the other. But like, yeah, it's different things. 5e's rules are inherently solid, but the problem is once you understand exactly how 5e works, everything just kind of becomes a little dull. Or you start realizing some of the badly designed parts of 5e. I mean, I'd love it if more people were shifting to 2e or other systems. But, like, I mean, in the end, the fun you're going to have at a 5e table is going to be determined by the players and the DMs.
Well,
yeah, and, actually, running 5e is like fucking breeze. Holy shit. It is so easy.
Well, no, what they're saying is it is a nightmare for the DM because the DM has to come up with so many rules. And I agree, but that's only when you're getting to the more advanced things, like player crafting, or how to run an item shop in general, because they don't give specific items for magic items, which is nuts. The problem with 5e was Wizards of the Coast decided, alright, we need to output books, and we need to up the production. Let's get a bunch of people working on the product. What happened was they didn't have a solid game design principle, and thus a lot of the classes are not power balanced whatsoever. The game design was left very vague and very open, so more people could work on it. And you just got very unbalanced things put into it. And you got a lot of rule design choices that were meant to handicap the players because they didn't want them to overrun the campaign too easy, like how potions work, for instance. Like, potions are such an economy loss in the game as designed.
It's really dumb.
And the potions don't offer enough to counter it, so you don't use potions in combat.
Like, I think I still posit that one of the strongest elements of 5e's design is that it is, like, so fucking easy to homebrew. Like, that's... I think to run a good 5e game, you need to have a lot of homebrewed house rules. But, like, obviously, it's kind of weird to be like, oh, game, you're so easy to modify and turn into something else. Good job. Because, like, it's just solid, like, core rule. It's D20, advantage, disadvantage. Like, that's kind of it.
There's great game designers working for D&D. The problem was Wizards of the Coast said, we need a very open market, easy accessible game. And a lot of them came from D&D 3.5, a lot of people who are very invested in D&D history. And so they're just looking at the rules like, how do we take what made D&D great and gut everything complex about it and still have a good game system? And honestly, they... well, yeah, that's the thing. 4E for D&D is very complex, actually, but not complex at the same time. Combat takes forever, but like character choice and design, it had very homogenous character design. You play like one of like 5 play character types, and like your multi-classing was based on that and all kinds of stuff like that. 4E was a really good board game. It was a very terrible tabletop RPG game.
It seems like it was designed to be like a war game, because all the shit I hear about the combat, I'm like, that's what I do with like Warhammer. Or at least like, yeah, the combat takes this long, and I'm like, yes, an average 2K, 40K game.
So, you know, when 5e came around, and like, already D&D is doing terrible, Wizards of the Coast doesn't fucking care, so it's just like, just make a game for everyone. Just make a game that we can put in our Hasbro game stores. And they did something that was pretty good, honestly. Like, anyone can complain about how it's designed or whatever, and that they don't like it, but it is the game that crashed the tabletop market in a good way. It busted in and made so many people into players. Critical Role definitely helped with that and made it cool in that respect as well. But 5e is just easy to get into. Plain and simple. It's a very easy game to really dive into.
That's what I started with.
And no one can dispute the effect it's had. So whether you like it or not, it's a great game because so many people like it and play it. I prefer Pathfinder 2e. I prefer a game system that has such good like framework for the rules that whenever they add stuff, like they're adding the Lich, right? You can be a Lich in this next book, right? It's not going to be broken. It's not like anything they put out for D&D, where in D&D, whenever they come out with new stuff, it's power creep.
True. Yeah, that's all Tasha is.
Tasha's book is straight up power creep the book with all the stuff that it released. And
fucking undead warlock.
And it like, you know what? Because I've been playing Warhammer a lot lately, Tasha's book felt like a new codex in some respects, because they're like, oh yeah, here's some options you can add to some of the earlier class designs, like Ranger. Oof. Yeah, here's some new updated rules for Ranger.
Deserved, honestly.
Deserved.
Yeah. And like, at least 5e doesn't have to deal with the fact that every once in a while a little PDF will drop that makes your army dog shit. Definitely didn't happen to me recently. They definitely didn't just drop a hot patch that made my army horrible, or at least way worse, a week before a tournament I'm attending. I'm not bitter.
And King Neo, are you talking about D&D or Pathfinder 2e? Because I've heard a lot of people who are like, Pathfinder 2e doesn't have the same crunch as Pathfinder 1e. Which is a statement that I agree with, but I also don't think that's a bad thing. Pathfinder 2e is, it has a good amount of crunch and just works a lot better generally. You're not stuck in feat trees forever.
Hexblade Warlock.
Hexblade
Warlock's so fun though. Like, it's so fun, but it's so busted.
It honestly, if they made all the classes like Paladin or Hexblade Warlock, I think there wouldn't be as much issue, because both those classes feel really solid, honestly.
I'd say, as you know, someone who deals with this constantly in the games I play, power creep is more. There's the camp of like what we're speaking of, like it's more of a lot of power creep is specifically designed to sell books, where it's here's this new, better, stronger thing. Yeah. Instead of giving me more options, which is I think what Pathfinder 2e does a lot more. It gives you more options to make something strong, but then there's the difference of here is brand new thing, look how cool and powerful it is, buy the book. Power creep is a technique that specifically sells new shit. As an avid Warhammer player, I deal with this on a weekly basis. Because that is the game, is building around power creep.
Yeah. And no, like power creep isn't really a thing about like higher optimization, because the thing is like in Pathfinder 2e it's so modular that you can build whatever, and new classes that they release aren't better than old classes. I wouldn't say Gunslinger, Magus, Summoner, or Inventor outclass any of the prior classes designed for them. Yeah, there's better ways to optimize your characters now than there was in the past. Sure, they have lots of archetypes that really work towards that and everything like that. But old classes can use those, and typically do, and are, you know, good. Nothing is invalidated by it. And to be fair, Pathfinder 2E's archetype system, I think a big misconception is, are not predominantly designed for power gaming. There's a lot of them that are not power gaming, and they're more for like narrative spin or for fleshing out your character more, which I like. Like the celebrity or the dandy are interesting, but they're not necessarily like gonna beat out archery or even like the martial artist or anything like that.
No. Honestly, I also kind of agree. I think that 5e, they just need to go to next edition. They're not going to anytime soon. There's no reason for them to. Like, there's no real incentive. But I think they should, for a gameplay like standpoint. It would function a lot better if they can just, you know, allow some of the stuff that's dropping for like the quality of like Tasha. If they just had a core book with that quality, because Tasha's the best book they dropped. Power Creeper, no, it's the best designed subclasses and like actual content they've added in a really long time since like Xanathar, which is solid. But yeah, they need to move on to 6e.
I agree. They just need to build a better foundation. Honestly, with D&D 5e as it's currently designed, I think they could make a solid framework for another edition that would be compatible with 5e for upgrading. I think that they have that well within their power and ability to do so. The biggest thing that really just needs to happen is they just need to look at what class power design is and build a good logic for it, so that future classes aren't straight up just making old class options just obsolete, because that happens all the time.
Yeah, fucking true. Also, did they actually announce D&D in space? That's pretty hype. I haven't heard anything about that.
It's not like they haven't had D&D in space before.
Yeah, but they should actually do it.
I don't know. I'm not a 5e player, really. So if they are... Yeah, Spelljammer's been a thing for a while. I guess they just might be doing a 5e rule set for it.
I'm into that. Also, yeah, the free archetype rule in 2e, I strongly believe that needs to be a mandatory rule for character creation, because it just makes the game function better in like character creation. It is objectively a better way to play.
It makes it, I mean, honestly, it just adds a couple. It adds like up to 10 extra feats onto your character. That's all it does, and that's if you hit level 20. It's not a super big thing, but it can flesh out characters a lot. I like my own personal ruling for it, where you can't use multi-class archetypes for it. I feel that makes the game more interesting, because the players are picking more interesting archetype dedications.
Because it makes it so you do pick like the fluffy ones to make your character function like how their character would be.
Yeah. Not that there aren't like the optimized ones like medic or martial artist, you know, all that kind of stuff. But even then, you know, I feel like it just offers a little bit more diversity for character design, and you're getting less power gamey like mindsets. I wouldn't even call it power gamey, because multi-class archetype dedication isn't really all that power gamey in comparison to some of the other archetype dedications. But I feel like players only do multi-class archetype dedication stuff to enhance what their character can do, rather than taking what the theme of it is to enhance what their character design is. Like, now we have players who are making like, oh, my character is a ranger, but they're also an eldritch, you know, investigator. So they hunt monsters, and that enhanced their character. But, you know, to each table their own. It's just one of those things of like, every table can do it differently. My ruling is just for the idea that I feel like it enhances the player's gameplay in the end because they're making choices that are a little on the fluffier side.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's the thing that was really fun about it is I remember when you mentioned it, I was like, oh, that's cool. And I mean, back in my head, I was like, I wonder how strong that is. Nope, not overpowered. You just get extra shit. It's a good rule.
And yeah, I don't know. I don't even think D&D and Wizards of the Coast knows what they want to do with D&D right now. They've been hinting, because they don't want to give up 5e yet, they've been hinting that they're going to be coming out with like a 5.5 or a easily adjustable like expansion to 5e. Like, they keep coming out with all this really vague stuff, and I think it's just because they're struggling to balance the game in a way that doesn't invalidate all prior design. And they're going to keep struggling until they just design to you know, like just go through with a full expansion, a full new edition, because I think they really need to.
Honestly, if they just did 5.5 and made something, especially with all the poached Paizo designers they got, just make 5e like the content of 5e and add extra complexity and character choice to it. Like, hell yeah, go right for it. I would play 5.5 in a heartbeat, because I have fun with 5e. I just want more shit to do in it. But yeah, no, the I see that being talked about. Like, the free archetype shit, adding extra feats just gives your players more way to deal with problems, not like break your game. It is like a negligible amount of I'd say changes on my end, where I felt like I was playing the same game, just I had more options to do, like in the campaigns we're playing. Because I played it with you like before you made that decision, and then right after.
Yeah, and essentially like no, it doesn't increase power. Because Pathfinder is so rigidly designed around how their leveling scale works. No archetypes provide stat bonuses. Really, they provide extra options, which may lead to like extra damage when it comes to like enhancing yourself with spells or certain kind of maneuvers or whatever. But even like the maneuvers that you get that are stronger typically are based on the action economy per the power level. So they're like, okay, you're spending 3 actions to do this really good maneuver, but that's expected at this level. I legitimately have always used free archetype because I've always thought it was really good, and I still use the general. Well, I mean, I also am a very experienced GM, so when I balance an encounter, I do so intuitively because I understand how the game system works, and I have a good sense and intuition for how it's designed, to the point where I can pretty well guess the outcome of fights ahead of time. The balancing system in the game, though, I don't see DMs struggling with. Like, not really. Most of the monsters feel pretty good, and all it just takes is just finessing. Some abilities might be a little too strong, or super situational, or some monsters are very resistant to a lot of golems are an example of they're typically stronger than they should be for their level, but that's because they have a very strong weakness, but if the party can exploit it is a different question. All kinds of stuff like that. It's one of those things. I haven't heard about this thing about Leshies being insta-killed by monsters at level 9. I haven't come into that, and honestly, I don't think that's a thing. So, if you can prove to me otherwise that there's some kind of spell or something, because while they classify as plant-like creatures, they're a creature, and there's different kind of stat builds for it. So, I would play a Leshie and not feel too concerned about it. And Leshies aren't even like weak to fire, so it's not like you're taking more damage standardly. If they made 5e more complex, would that encourage more players to try out Pathfinder 2?
I hope so.
Well, if they made 5e more complex, it'll make the system harder to use. So yes, because players will be like, this game is really wonky. I don't know. Let's go try this game out. People say this game's awesome. So I would say inherently yes, because making 5e more complicated is not what 5e needs right now. 5e needs a better framework. 5e needs better foundations.
Though, if they did, I mean, say for example, in this universe, 5.5 is just like is literally like a small bridge to Pathfinder. Like, it is well designed. It's got a good framework. It's a simplistic Pathfinder. Then yeah, it could just be a gateway drug to like Pathfinder itself, which would be pretty cool.
And yeah, like Dalen here, or Dylan, or however you pronounce your name, my apologies, Mr. Nelson. They are, yeah, it's, that's the biggest complaint, is DM set to homebrew. If you're a good DM, 5e becomes progressively harder to run. Like, if you're a starting DM, 5e's easy, because most of it is just, like, justification of advantage, disadvantage, and just saying, like, oh, you know, looking at this, I think it's this, whatever, and it works out. It's fine. The better of a DM you are and the more systems you want to give your players, the harder the game gets to run, because you start finding out you have to start actually adding rules to the game, which makes it more difficult. So definitely there's a DM if I've ever seen one here, because those are a lot of complaints I see from a lot of DMs who play out. The DM we have for 5e, Quentin, he struggles. Dalen. Alright. I love the name Dalen, by the way. I have a character named Dalen in one of our games. Funny enough. Spelled differently, nice. But pretty close to the same. But Quentin has said repeatedly, I hate a lot of the rules for D&D 5e because I have to do so much work. You know, and that's really unfortunate. It
is, but holy shit, that man has made 5e real fun.
Yeah, I mean,
I like his version.
Before the fall, Arcadum was also one of the people out there who made Pathfinder or D&D 5e really good with a lot of the homebrew he put into it and everything like that. I know Joe Cat currently has been doing a lot of homebrewing for 5e and has been making really good content. So, it's there's a lot. Let's see, a lot of things would need to be overhauled for D&D 5e, 6e, rules for crafting. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if they make a 6th edition, they just need to look at Pathfinder's design, like, logic, their design principles, and build something similar to that, but on a more casual scale. Because I think 5e's biggest selling point is its casualness. And while it sucks for DMs, D&D 5e is super easy for players to play in.
Super true. And important caveat too, especially because we got newer people in the chat. Whenever we're like discussing a lot of tabletop stuff, I primarily talk from a player perspective. I used to DM. I don't anymore. I don't enjoy DMing. So I usually am arguing from the player perspective. So I'm usually a lot more like okay with shit rules. Because I'm not the one that has to deal with it. I feel bad for all you good 5e DMs. Sounds rough. Couldn't be me.
There is no one more deserving of tips in tabletop than D&D 5e GMs. It's a nightmare. I used to do Adventure League play. It's a nightmare because you're trying to keep everything balanced while dealing with super wonky rules. And then they make downtime one of the big things they give out in Adventure League play, and then downtime is one of the most broken systems because there's just nothing there. You want to retrain some of your skills? Cool, that's easy, I guess. Crafting? Well, you can make potions. Did you mean making potions? Because that's what you're doing when you're crafting, is making potions.
Yeah.
And only low-level potions.
But
and yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I do want to throw this out there. A little suggestion. Wizards of the Coast, Mike, out there. Mr. Coast. I know you watch all these random streams. I know you look in, trying to find what new stuff you can add to this game. And to a giant, like, doc on how you can improve the game. There's a little-known system made up in Spain called Anima Beyond Fantasy that you should take inspiration from.
Oh my god, please no. Please no. Do not do that. Anima's worse.
Anima's so good. What are you
Anima's
talking
worse.
about?
Anima refers to tables that don't exist in the book.
As it should be. Keep you
No,
on your toes.
that's dumb.
Make your own table then, Mr. DM. You want a table so bad, you do it.
What do you mean make a table?
Yeah, if the table doesn't exist in the book, make it yourself.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know. Y'all like, man, Cameron, this game is great, and I'm like, yeah. After like aging like 50 years in the span of the 10 years I've played the game.
That's just normal tabletop, bro.
It's not.
As it should be, working as intended.
But it's like oh god. It gave me a fucking heart attack with that one. Keynotes for 60. Keep it simple to play in combat, tighten balance, easy to build characters as is now, maybe a little bit more choice there, but most importantly, expand the skill system like 2E. Yeah, 2E's skill system, it feels good investing in skills in Pathfinder 2E. With the feats and everything like that, having good skills feels really good. A wood table that lists different types of wood tables.
Now we're cooking with grease. You listening, Wizard of the Coast?
If I ever get a big game design company eventually, that'll be an April Fool's joke we'll do.
Hell yeah.
We'll just have the table of useful tables, and it's just gonna be a bunch of tables that are completely not useful in anything.
Perfect.
When the player picks up a rock, here's a random table for what kind of rock it is. No actual changes, but it's just like, this is an igneous rock. This is a quartz rock. All that kind of stuff.
So, actually, funny you mentioned that, Dead Phoenix. The DM we talk of that runs 5e, for us, he actually has his own system that does that. And in practice, it works really fucking well. When I was briefly running a game, a homebrew world, I took his system, and I had him write it up for me, and I used it. It doesn't break it. It just gives you more shit to do, because instead it's level 2, 6, 10, you get a feat. Onward, fighters get 2 extra feats and ability scores. It functions really well to actually have them be separate things. It makes level ups a lot more interesting to do it. I can always give a write-up in our Discord if anyone wants it, because it works really well for your 5e games, and I'd highly recommend it. It does not break your system.
Actually, it's been mentioned a few times, and I think now is a good time to plug it, if anything. If you're all here, either watching post the fact or watching with us now, we do have a Discord. It's down in the link below on YouTube. I do see we have a lot of YouTubers here. We also have a link on our Twitch, because we stream on both. We talk all things tabletop there, as well as I recruit for any of the games we do our live play. So if you want to join our community, we're growing all the time. We get new people all the time, and we're doing all kinds of invested stuff. We try to keep it pretty, PC. We do our best to make sure that everyone can come have a good time and not worry about what's going to be said. So don't worry about the nerd rage, anything like that. We tend to curate that pretty well there.
That shit won't fly under my watch.
I'm here after the video. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in there for sure. Yeah, Spider-Nos is in here. Pretty much a lot of the people in the chat are already in here. But for those of you who are not yet, or who are, watching post the fact, we got a pretty bouncing community, honestly. We get a lot of fun stuff. The meme channel, I've been posting a lot of memes there recently. I absolutely do my best. Obviously, I'm busy running a channel, trying to do everything, and I mentioned earlier that I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff around the house as well to help my fiance out. But I do try to come in as much as I can, and so do many of the other people. I know Alex here is very much in the chat a lot of times.
I'm pretty active in the Discord. Granted, I'm at my computer a lot, so working. So I usually have one of these Discords open in my other screen. If you chat in the Discord, and especially if you fucking camp out in the Warhammer server, I will talk to you. Please talk.
Nice, Dalen.
Hell yeah. But yeah, we have a pretty fun little community. I put some Discord links in each of them. Also, yeah, they should totally make a college word table for
college word table.
Yeah, because if you want to make a word up and sound smart.
That's actually a good idea.
Actually, yeah.
How to describe things like a smart person? The table. This is very fortuitous. Man, those guys got ran through, Julie-ended like fresh potatoes.
Not a real word, but okay.
Yeah,
that was a real funny story.
That was.
I love that moment.
In our chat, actually mentioned a good thing to do as well is a Stranger Things campaign. I actually really like Stranger Things, so
yeah, it was cool.
But yeah. Anyway, plugging aside, like Pathfinder has been coming out with so much good stuff, and as Dead Phoenix has mentioned here several times, and a lot of other people, it mostly doesn't disbalance the game. Not at all. Like, I think the only thing that Pathfinder 2E is really going to have a problem with is some archetypes invalidating others sometimes, because they're not all designed to be as efficient for combat or for narrative, Like, the pirate is a really bad archetype in general, very situational, but it would be a really good addition for your pirate style character if you played it in a game, and would add so much flavor to them. So, like, things can be simultaneously bad and good at the same time if they're done well enough.
I am not crazy familiar with 1E. The most I'm familiar with is the 1E that is portrayed in the 2 video games. Mainly Wrath of the Righteous, that's one I played. But they should make... I'm pretty sure there's a telekinetic in 1E, and they should put that into 2E.
They are.
I like telekinetics. Yep, they better do it quicker, though.
It's coming out in the Dark Archive.
They better make it, like, tomorrow. Because I want it, like, now.
I want it now. What class would I like to be converted to 2E? It's so hard because one of the design principles of 1E were mix class choices. So, for instance, there was the Arcanist class. And the Arcanist was a character who was a sorcerer taught as a wizard. So, he had a little bit of sorcerer and a little bit of wizard in a class. And I really liked the Arcanist personally. I really liked the idea. But you can already do that in Pathfinder 2E. You can easily Constitution Witch. Cavalier was one I was very... It was very interesting. They decided to turn it into... Oh! I know which one I want to do. Inquisitor. Inquisitor from Pathfinder 1E to 2E. Inquisitors were really cool. They were characters that were designed around hunting apostates. They had a little bit of ranger in them. They had a little bit of like paladin in them at the time. They were a very cool class, a very well done class. They could brand enemy with one of their abilities, and the enemy they branded would take like a bunch of extra damage or have a lot of different other effects to it. They had some good like abilities they could proc on themselves for self-buffing. Like a self-buffing bard. Yeah, Inquisitor was really good.
I'm gonna throw this out there because the only framework I have are Inquisitors like the Inquisitors in Divinity.
I mean, Inquisitors in Divinity don't have a class.
Yeah, no, they do. There's the Inquisitor class. It's the Necromancer Fighter.
Oh.
What that's called?
Kind of. I would say they're more like a Ranger Fighter Cleric mix.
Okay. Yeah, also, once they add, like, Psychic, Kineticist, I'll have my two favorite archetypes, Psychic and a Gunslinger in one game, so, like, they could just stop developing 2E. Like, they kind of peak, you know?
A Divine-based Magus would be really cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
You could ask your DM, hey, can I play Amogus but use the Divine book instead? I don't think they would have a problem with it. I don't think it would imbalance it at all. I think if anything, though, you would struggle with your cantrips because Divine Spellist does not have good cantrips.
Yeah, that's true. Though, they should port over the 5e Paladin into Pathfinder because it is better than Champion. You play Paladin. You understand what I'm talking about.
I'm stuck with this man. Y'all have no idea. I cannot rely on anyone for content as much as this man. I have to put up with this bullshit all the time.
Well, I'm speaking the truth. Don't boo me, I'm right.
Boo!
I'm right.
Boo!
Champion is not good. They don't have smite. Sorry.
Champions are great. Don't let this loser tell y'all differently.
I have all my tabletop opinions are completely fair and unbiased. Druids suck because they are what they are, and if champions could smite, they'd be cooler.
See, everyone disagrees with you. You're wrong.
Well, they're wrong, Well, who's the mod in the room,
Me? I'm the biggest mod. I can take your power from you.
All you in the chat are talking some mad shit for someone within band distance.
And yeah, Dalen, you're right. They are different options. Champion is a defensive base class, a really good defensive base class. From what I've seen of it, it was a really awesome class. There's no one else who can stride into combat and negate as much party damage as a champion. It's so cool. D&D's paladin is a smite cannon. That's all they are. They're a fighter who just smites.
Yeah. And that's hype as fuck.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you. I even said earlier today, Paladin, I think, is what most classes should strive for.
It's one of the best designed classes in 5e. It is the best class in 5e. So, every other system should copy it. And also, disgusting. If you cast spells as a 5e Paladin, you're not doing it right. And I mean that completely unironically. I have to fucking protect Devin's character in our Saturday game because he threatened me that if this character dies, he's playing a non-smiting paladin. I don't want to live with that. I don't know what I'll do. I'll have a fucking brain aneurysm with that. Because like, that character, oh man, you could just fight, got advantage. You're gonna do a good amount of damage if you hit him. He's like, Brain fight.
Dalen, are you talking about Pathfinder? Pathfinder 2E? I do actually have an opinion on that.
Okay, I like that idea, King Neo, only because I like the idea of a trip build and then a bunch of champions running around just kicking them while the person's down.
Trip builds are so dumb.
I just think that's funny.
I
think that image is funny. I like builds that are essentially just bullying the enemy. To the point where it's like, this isn't like a combat anymore. This is just schoolyard bullying.
I mean, I agree. I wish that there was more of a Crusader build style champion. You know, one that's less defensive build and more offensive build. I think that there should be like a Crusader. Honestly, that'd be maybe another good class to add as a Crusader. So. Just, you know, is just not a champion. They are someone who goes in and fucks up the demons, you know. Dalen, yes. If I say there's a class that could use a little bit of rework, Alchemist. Inventor came up with some good stuff that I think Alchemist could benefit from a lot. Like for instance, Inventor gets crafting as they level up. They don't have to invest in it. I think Alchemist should do the same.
Yeah, Alchemist feels like a lot. Like, they look interesting and all, but like, good lord. Like, they're one of the classes I know nothing about. Because like, every time I try, I'm like, this is a lot. I wish it was like, because I get Inventor. Makes sense. It's laid out like well. I don't think Alchemist was like at least laid out and organized very well.
Honestly, go ahead.
I will just mention, completely completely serious. I'm mostly memeing on Champion. I meme so hard on it because Paladin's my favorite class, and Champion is just, it's not my playstyle. I don't play defensively. I'm a DPS guy, like through and through. But yeah, Champions suck.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, for Alchemists, I just think that they just need to make it where Alchemists, when they throw bombs, bombs just do more damage. I think Alchemists will be fine then. I think that's the biggest issue, because otherwise Alchemist, I think, has a lot of very interesting things they can do for it. Maybe like an injector ability, so they can use mutagens as a free action, like innately, or something like that. But like, I think Alchemist is a good class. Don't get me wrong. I think it's just they are a little awkward when it comes to combat, and combat is a good like half of a session sometimes. So I think they just need a little bit. I don't think they need a big rework. I think the class just needs some fine tuning to set it at the level, because like Inventor has a lot of the same aspects, but isn't necessarily like struggling. I'm playing an Inventor for like a short like 10-15 session game, and they feel really, really good, you know. Oh my god, chat is actually flying fast. I'm having a hard time.
This is one of the most active and like cool chats we've had.
It's true. We got a lot of cool people in here.
Yeah, good on all of you.
A lot of good-looking people in here in chat, man.
Especially these last 2 Twitch messages. Whoever that is.
Shut the fuck up, Alex. My GM for Pathfinder 2E is letting me play the Reanimator archetype. Oh, Reanimator archetype from Book of the Dead. That sounds cool. It's been fun so far. We're only 1 session in, though, so I haven't got much of a test. Man, see, did a bunch of people just get the book early? Where's my book?
You, like, didn't get the book early? Paizo sent me the book for my tabletop work.
Shut up. Let's see. Yeah, I'm playing a Balmer Alchemist in Pathfinder 2E, partly because the other subclasses aren't that great IMO. I think some of them are fine. I think the problem with Alchemists is all Alchemists can make all types of potions, so it's really hard to make like anything very. I just think it needs some fine tuning. But I think Alchemist, even as it is now, you wouldn't feel behind everyone else. Because one of the great things about Alchemist is you can pull out a potion for any occasion. You have what Wizards always wanted, which is your whole spellbook available to you at all the time.
Like, every class is super solid, but yeah, Alchemist just needs like a light touch-up.
I think so. I'll let y'all know how it goes on the Discord. The more I play, though, nice. Honestly, if we're talking 3 Paladin Sorcerer, dip 2 levels in Paladin, good, Divine Soul Sorcerer for the rest, you'll become an absolute monster. Yeah, there are a lot of builds like that in 3 and 3.5 as well. I've heard of the World Breaker builds in 3.5. There's some really nutty ones. My Malevolence group has 2 Inventors in it, and they're pretty damn good. Inventor's solid. I'll tell everyone here right now, Inventor's really good. Do not sleep on Inventor. It's a really good class, actually. Oh, talking 5e, then yeah. Well, yeah, Paladin Sorcerer 5e is really, really good. You're a very tanky sorcerer that can heal yourself an unstoppable amount, and you have more smites.
That's really what matters in the end.
That's all that matters in the end. Even if they're low-level smites, it doesn't matter because you're still hitting like a bus. Alex champions still play offensively. They just play defensively for everyone else. Psh. I would disagree with that statement. Champion does not have as many good offensive abilities. Honestly. They can do some stuff, but a lot of the stuff they can do, a fighter can do, you know. Like...
That's also an argument for every martial class.
Like,
but no, I do agree with you.
I do honestly think though that we need like a good like Crusader class.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Dr. Actimus subclass kind of sucks. Well, yeah, the Chirurgeon is
Shit, I'll be right back. 1 second.
I don't know why they're just like, yes, you can make anti-venom and anti-plague and like the basic healing potions easily. I don't know. I think it needs a touch-up. If you're a Paizo sub, you get it early. Yeah, but it's like not usually that early. If you pre-order on Paizo, you get the PDF when the book gets sent in the mail. Oh, okay. I really should do that. Problem is, I get all my stuff on Roll20, so it's really hard because I'd buy the book twice. Is essentially what would happen. And if I buy it on Roll20, they'll give me the PDF for the book through Paizo. So the medic drug dealer alchemist, alchemist the inventor archetype, or vice versa is very cool. That does sound like a good one. Alchemist with inventors would be a really fun archetype. I think I'd go opposite. I'd go inventor with alchemist as my archetype. All right, I have to be. Oh right, have to be secret. My random is a Kitsune Bones Oracle. That's a really good one. I'm going to be focusing more on the focus spells. I like the oracles. The oracles are actually really cool. Bone Oracle especially is really cool. Ritual side of things. And less on Animate Dead. Enhance Oracle. Free focus scaling and focus point regen scaling will be good here. That's a good point. My inventor drops a ton of damage. Yes, that's true. Weapon Inventor is nuts. Yeah, Weapon Inventor is really, really good. It's probably the best one, arguably speaking. The other ones are good, and I don't think that they're bad by any means. But having really powerful armor isn't necessarily great for an inventor. The companion's really good, though. And the fact that a lot of your inventor-based feats go with your companion can make your companion honestly the best companion in the game. So it's really, really good. Also going to have the Sepulchre Sublimation to sack create undead pets for clutch-free spell slots in dire straits. That sounds really cool. At least 6. You start getting some decent options for damage. Don't know what that's about. Haha, I moved to YouTube because I'm on the move. Cool. Tyrant is kind of offensive as far as champion is concerned. The Tyrants, well, I mean, the evil champions in general are more offensively and selfishly based, but I think that doesn't necessarily, like, I want a class that is kind of like the Smite Paladin from 5e. A class that comes in and kind of like spell swings like the Magus does. Maybe with like some less spell slots, maybe with some balancing, but a class that's very much like a tankier fighter who has some divine spells thrown on. And again, you can already kind of do this in Pathfinder. I would just like a class that does it because I think they have a really good opportunity for it. My buddy got the book on Monday. For me, it's the additional CC that makes Paladin Sorcerers shine. At level 5, you have an AoE, Restrain, and Paralysis spell to get auto crits for your smites. It's a really good combination. Iron Repercussions is a solid offensive reaction. It is. It's a really good one. Like, I'll still be using Animate Dead as part of my kit. Yeah, Animate Dead would be really good anyway as a reanimator. Champion level 6, you can get Smite, Evil, and Litany against Wrath. Yeah, I mean, you can get, like, champions can do good damage against specific types of enemies, and you can invest heavily into that to do really good damage against certain type of enemies. Like I said, you can already kind of do it. My big thing is mostly just making a class that feels like a holy juggernaut, I think is what I would really like. Like, comes in and messes faces up. Like, if you play the D&D 5e Paladin, that's the feel I kind of want to go for. Because I've been playing one recently, and I've really been feeling that, like, self-sufficient, heavy-hitting kind of class. And it feels really, really good. But from what I've seen from Champions so far, you can kind of go that way. But it just doesn't feel quite the same.
It is a whole different feeling when you lock eyes with a fiend as a 5e paladin. It is a whole other feeling. Like, holy shit. It is like, Vale also has this feeling. Because, their character is literally feared. The only person in, one of the only people in that world that demons are scared of. That's the fun of it. Like, playing like a crusader. It's so cool. Also, I love
see you, Spider-Nos. Have a nice day.
Yeah, see you. I love my religious themes and characters. I really like it. So playing paladins and stuff is just fun because I can make a cool, weird religious character.
Dalen, I agree with you on some part. Playing evil characters, most DMs probably shouldn't allow. Evil is something that needs to be handled delicately and with a strong amount of care. Now, if you're playing an evil campaign, that's different. But if you're a good role player, being evil isn't bad, and you can do good things while pushing the agendas of evil if you do it correctly. It's definitely an advanced play style, and I wouldn't trust most anyone to do it, but I've definitely seen it done really well.
It is tough to do. I don't know if I could fully even do it. I like playing characters that are morally ambiguous, or like how essentially like that neutral line of like, or just self-serving. Because the most evil character I think I played was Sebastian, and it was more just lack of empathy towards people, more than like malicious and evil.
Don't have many top level spell slots and have a ton of summons at once to cheese Bonds of Death, so I'm focused on using Reanimator more. I definitely have to look at it to understand more what you're talking about, but Reanimator does sound really cool for the new book that came out. You know, Steel Grasp of the Grave from Undead Sork and not have to be curse-bound while still having Oracle refocus progression. Seems solid. It does. Which is... Closest thing I've gotten to 5e Paladin is just a fighter with the Blessed Archetype. I mean, I can definitely see that. Again, like I said, you can make the build in Pathfinder. I just want a class dedicated to it. I want Inquisitor. You know what? Give me Inquisitor. Give me Inquisitor back. I want Inquisitor. Let me have it. I want Inquisitor. Give me a hard ass. I'm here to slay evil, and I don't care what you say. I don't care about your morals. I'm working for the greater good kind of character. That's the kind of Inquisitor I want back.
Hell yeah.
My GM is letting me use the creating skeleton rules with focus. Oh yeah, they have new undead creation rules, which I think is really cool. Man, that's another thing. Like, that's another great thing. Being able to craft your own minions is really like a thing in Pathfinder 2e now. Like, you want to be the necromancer who sews bodies together to make better minions. You can totally play that now.
Oh, that's so cool.
Isn't it? Isn't it good?
It's so dope.
Evil often means selfish, and selfish often means not wanting to work with the party. No, that's not true.
I mean, that's how people run it, though.
Yeah,
that's
again, that is. No, evil is being self-serving. Yes, I'll agree to that. That's kind of the definition of evil. Helping people can serve your own ends. Making people want to help you, like, why villains lose a lot of the time is because they are bad at making friends and people betray them all the time. You don't have to be dumb and evil.
Yeah. Granted, most people will just run it. Like, their interpretation of evil for, like, the normal person is, horribly selfish and won't work good in a party comp, and that's why so many evil characters just show up on nightmare stories. Yeah. It's like, they play a character that cannot function in a group setting, and that's the problem. Like, even if it's like you're playing an evil character, your DM allows it, don't ruin it for everyone else. You're a party, function with the party. Don't make a character that like cannot exist with a group. I mean, if you want a larger thing on that, we have a whole table talk about pet peeves, and I think we both talk about that pretty extensively because it is very annoying to see.
We need to make a clickbaity title for playing evil characters. I think that would be a good table talk to have.
I'll come up with something.
But, no, like, yeah, like Lex Luthor, actually, really good example of an evil character. Sometimes his ego gets in the way. He has a big-ass hate boner for Superman.
That is where a lot of it comes from. He just hates that man.
But he's a guy who's done he's saved the world, you know, on many occasions. He's joined the Justice League. Very Machiavellian and very good villain. Alex, ban down.
Get out of here. Oh boy. Hell yeah.
very spy master, evil behind. Yeah, I mean, I did that though, right? That's that's how I played my evil wizard. He was really good to his party members. He helped them out a lot. To be fair, he was also like helping you guys out and doing this whole like stopping the demons thing. Saves the world, which is good for me because I don't want the world to end. And I'm getting artifacts left and right because these demon lords and all these dungeons we go into. So fuck yeah, I'm gonna party with these people, and it's gonna make it easier to me to get power. And I corrupted whole cities behind the party's back. They had no idea.
That's very true. Also, fucking like, man, Doctor Doom. That'd be another fun one. Doctor Doom's so fucking cool. What a good villain. Another character that's only downfall is that he has a hate boner for one of the main characters.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, he's used that hate boner to be like, "I saved the world, Reed Richards. Fuck you." Or, "I was there for your wife when she was giving birth because you weren't. I'm a better father figure than you are to your own kid."
All kinds of media where you can see villains who you always question, are they really a bad person? Like, I know what they did in the end was really, really shitty, but like a lot of villains just want like their family back or something, you know, and they're willing to do anything. They're willing to hurt anyone. Like, anti-societal things are evil, and doing that for self-purpose is evil. You can do that and still have people you love, cherish. You can be a good person to some people and still be evil in practice 90% of the time.
Yeah. I will say King Neo actually an entire campaign revolving around like a world like the Continental and John Wick, because that is one of the fucking coolest like criminal organizations I've ever seen in media. It is so well like done. That would be a really fun like evil campaign, quote unquote. Like playing criminals who are part of an organization like that with like really strong rules.
Kingpin in Spider-Verse was really good. Oh god, there was another animated series where they had who was he? The big guy. But he was called the big man all the time. But he wasn't Kingpin, but he was like, I can't remember. He was a really, really good villain though. You can look it up on YouTube. You can look up great villains in Spider-Man, and he'll show up. It's I want to say it's like Grave something.
Oh,
Tombstone. Yeah.
He's cool.
In the Spectacular Spider-Man, yeah.
Oh, yes.
He's a really, really good villain.
True. Also Silco. Shout out to Silco.
Silco would have been, it's very interesting as well.
Fuck. The scene where he's fucking with like the criminal council. Oh my god. I love villains that are physically weak, but that what makes them terrifying is how conniving they are. Like that man, you could push him over. You'd break his bones.
Yeah.
But the way he carries himself, you could like swear he's like massive and looming above you.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome. Great character.
Yeah. And Joseph here. Yeah, a Red Mantis Tyrant's champion build does sound nuts. Because Red Mantis assassins are also really cool. And being a tyrant would be just perfectly lawful evil. You know, that would be right under Chekeka or whatever the god's name is. Chekakek, I think is the god's name. The Mantis god. Be an ultra assassin. Really cool. And honestly, you can work in a game because your only job is to hunt those that you've been assigned to assassinate for whatever purpose or reason. That's it. And lawful evil, I think, is the only real good evil, honestly. Neutral evil is sketchy, but you can make it work. Chaotic evil is where players just go full stupid and just start doing things because, you know, lol, why not? I'm evil. Well, I believe the man. Oh, and there's a feat for it though. You can get a weapon proficiency for certain weapons. All this talk of physically weak villains but powerful political reminds me. a lot of current world events.
Ugh.
Yeah, but that's just because, you know, we don't have superpowers in this world.
Yeah.
If Putin could be an overpowered player character, he would.
Agreed. I'm trying to remember I'm trying to think through just really good villains I've seen recently, because I mean, Paul Dano is pretty cool, but that's an actor. He plays the Riddler recently, and he's in a lot of other movies as a minor antagonist. He's really fucking good. I also just don't watch much I don't watch a lot of just anime, and I haven't been playing very story driven games.
Oh yeah, that's true. Champions, or I guess tyrants in this case, of Ashik do get it because it's their god's weapon. Yeah, fair enough. Perfect.
Nice.
So yeah, yeah. So I mean, oh god, and you know, again, I tried to tie everything back together to the point of the talking point. There's so much Pathfinder's got going for it. A lot of what we talked about even today, oh, I would like to play a character like this. Well, I mean, you can already. I would like it to be easier. That happens all the time in Pathfinder. The options that are available. And like I mentioned before, Battle Zoo offers a lot. And it was designed by someone, you know, from the Pathfinder team. The Undead book, we've already been hearing tons from people who've gotten it ahead of time, and I'm so jelly. I want to have it. I want to have it in my hands already. If I didn't have to buy books twice, I would totally do it. But I would have to buy the book twice because I need it for Roll20. Battle Zoo lets me play a Blue Mage one day. Blue Mages, for those Final Fantasy fans, Blue Mages were always really cool. It's such a hard mechanic to recreate in gaming. But I do love the whole taking what your enemy throws at you and making it your own kind of style characters. That's what the Blue Mage is, for those who don't know. Is their big thing is they had to take a monster's ability, and sometimes they had to do a lot if there's a low chance, and they had to use an ability, and if the ability succeeded, they would get access to that monster's power. You know, like this monster's Omega Beam, or the Cactar's Thousand Needle, you know. You had to take it and survive after using one of their abilities, and then you would just have it yourself. And they were a tank class too, which was really cool.
That's pretty dope. And I played old Final Fantasy. I'm not as well versed with their shit.
But oh boy, this has been a good day. You know, it's been a really good day for the chat today. I'm so happy you all have come out to enjoy the stream with us here today. We've had a lot of really good discussion. Got some new people in the Discord today as well. I've already plugged that, so I'm not gonna do it again. But it's been I've been sitting here draining energy because I'm trying to read all the chat because chat's flying by so fast. That's crazy. We gotta definitely have a lot more clickbaity titles, I think, Alex.
It's how it be.
And if anyone's gonna complain about clickbait, I'll have to ask, did you enjoy our chat today? Because if you did, you may have got baited, but it was for a good thing, you know. Clickbait is always a very weird thing, because we all understand clickbaiting is just something that's extra emphasized or made extra extravagant for the purpose of getting people to click your video. But a lot of clickbaity videos are good videos. So is it clickbait or is it just good advertising?
I mean, yeah. There's some fun clickbait.
There are really trashy, also clickbaity videos. That it's just oh yeah, naked anime girls, and you click it and it's a video talking about something boring or whatever. or not related at all. And yeah, those that's straight clickbait. That's straight like meh. But we've been having a good chat, and I mean, a lot of people here. There's a lot of things you can get. You can get text-to-speech to help with reading chat. I've seen some streamers use it. I definitely would like to do so. The current issue is we're not official on YouTube, and we're not official on Twitch. So I can't have donation things to do that currently.
Shit. All right, we're wrapping up the stream. I gotta handle production issues. I'm filming soon, so.
Okay. Go ahead and head out. Say your goodbyes,
Bye.
Alex. I'll close
Bye,
out with
everyone.
chat. He's doing his finals he's working on his final project for his film, degree. So he's got to bounce. Yeah, I mean, there's bad leaks. There's stuff that definitely kind of just goes against the idea, but like legitimately, when we say you won't believe what they're coming out for Pathfinder 2e, can you? Because there's a lot of good stuff. Like even that came out in the Book of the Dead. Like a lot of it, we've heard a lot about the Reanimator today, which is really cool. We've heard a lot about the Lich archetype, which a player's always really wanted. There's really cool rules, and this is just something that doesn't exist in tabletop right now. A lot of these rules maybe can be found in a wide disparaging of tabletop. I mean, true. Hey, thanks for subscribing, Dalen. Pathfinder 1e had a lot of good stuff. I think Pathfinder 2e has a better design principle, and so it works a lot better. But Pathfinder 1e did come out with a lot. So much so that we're still not even halfway to the sheer amount of content that Pathfinder 1e had available. Yeah, Dark Archive is coming out, and Dark Archive is going to have a bunch of really cool stuff thrown into it as well. So there's all kinds of really good things kind of coming down the pipe for when it comes to Pathfinder, and I'm excited. We're here, and I'll tell everyone here right now, there's not a lot of really big Pathfinder 2e specific channels. And while I would say that we're kind of a Pathfinder 2e, I mean, that's our major focus on content. We also do variety content, but like the best one's only at like 20k subscribers, right, for Pathfinder 2e. And while we're not even at 1,000 yet, we're not even 1/20th of the way there, I'll tell you, none of the other ones have the same like kind of discourse that we have here. And I struggle to listen to some of their content, but I think the content we produce here is pretty good. So, maybe I'm just very biased because it's my content, and I would say that's a fair point to have. But I think what we got here at this channel, it's really good. It's going to be really going somewhere. And we keep getting more table talks like this with, I think we've had over like 30 people stop by the chat today to check us out. Like, we're going to have a big channel before anyone knows it. And we're going to have these table talks, and they're going to be massive affairs. So if you're joining in now, keep an eye out, because you're going to be a part of something really big. It's very exciting. See, I mean, we're still getting somebody with how tightly balanced 2E is. They could print out almost anything and make it good. I agree. Book of the Dead, Dark Archive. When are we going to get the Fluffy Unicorn books? I don't know, maybe. Crunch McDabbles is pretty good. I've heard. He doesn't upload very often. That's true. There's a lot of good channels out there that don't upload as often either. I don't know. Like I said, we got something really good going on here, and I'm putting in all my effort, and I'm learning every day to make the channel better and better and better. And I do listen to what all you say and do. So I don't know. We're gonna try our best at the very least, and we're gonna try to get somewhere with it. And I'm excited. I'm excited to have this all said and done, and hopefully we can get everyone hyped for more Even though we're done with Why This Class is Awesome, which is the best series on the channel so far, I have no doubt we're going to create some more very interesting, very exciting content as well. And, you know, I'll do my best. Don't let me forget any of you, though. I'll do my best to try to remember everyone who's here, because you are all making what's going to be the foundations for whatever this channel becomes. And that's not, even if this channel doesn't go any further, you at least made the foundation this far. So, you know, whatever the channel does become, it's just going to be built on your shoulders, and I appreciate you. So thank you to everyone. I got to go and make dinner, so I'm going to bounce. But thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate you all. If you have fun ideas for what table talks we'd like to have, drop them down in the Discord. Hell, if you can even drop them in the description, or the comment section to this chat here. I'll read a lot of them. We'll try to talk some more interesting points that people want to look at. Pathfinder is going to be releasing a lot of fun content over the summer, so we're going to be having some pretty big videos here, pretty big chats, and it's going to be really exciting. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight to all of you. Leave the bad luck to me, and good luck with your games. We'll see you next time. Bye.